Today's City News segment will show you how easy, stress-free, and enjoyable it is to fly Southern Airways from Hot Springs to Dallas. Southern Airways provides Essential Air Service, or EAS, for the city of Hot Springs. It's getting great reviews and growing its customer base. Airport Director Glen Barentine and I are going to walk you through the travel experience. Let's see how it goes. It's super easy to pull out your phone, tablet, or laptop and buy tickets online at iflysouthern.com. You won't believe the fare, $39 one way 3 weeks in advance. Get your tickets early for the best pricing. Frequent travelers can even purchase an express pass and enjoy additional discounts up to 1 year after purchase. Besides 3 daily flights from Hot Springs to the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, Southern Airways provides other routes in the Gulf region to destinations like El Dorado, Harrison, Memphis, Jackson, Nashville, Atlanta, and Destin. It's hassle-free to drive the short distance from your home to the terminal parking lot, park free of charge, and walk a few steps to the terminal building. Saving time and money before you even board your plane is a good thing, isn't it? Check-in involves answering a few questions and checking your bag. No waiting lines, no TSA screening, no metal detectors or wands, no pulling in and out your laptop. You can even keep your shoes on. Glen recently worked with a local sign company to bring a fresh new look to the passenger waiting area. Take a look at these beautiful big new murals. One side displays a sweeping panorama of downtown Hot Springs from the former Arkansas Rehabilitation Center all the way to the Arlington Hotel. The other side contrasts a historic downtown photo from the early 1900s, featuring shots of just a few of the prominent attractions Hot Springs has to offer during your visit. These murals are generating compliments from residents and visitors alike. We were so caught up in examining the details that our departure time arrived before we knew it. Time to board the Cessna 208 Caravan, where Keith Sisson, Chief Marketing Officer of Southern Airways, is here to join us on the flight to Dallas. It's an American single-engine turboprop that typically seats 9 passengers. We're about to ask Keith about the plane we'll be riding. Keith, how great that you could join us on this flight. Would you share with us a little bit about the company's background and operating philosophy?
Absolutely. We started in 2012. This whole thing was an idea that Stan Little, my business partner, came up with, and he was based in Memphis. And we saw in 2012 where Delta bought Northwest Airlines, and Memphis was a huge Northwest hub. You could go anywhere out of Memphis. But when Delta purchased Northwest, they dehubbed Memphis. So people in Memphis that were used to going nonstop to all of these destinations, now you were kind of forced to go through the hubs and make connections. So he saw an opportunity to connect people from Memphis to the Gulf Coast again. You know, at one point in time in Memphis, there were 37 nonstop flights between Memphis and the Gulf Coast. That went down to 3 when Delta dehubbed Memphis. So we started by flying caravans like the plane we're on right now from Memphis to Destin, Memphis to New Orleans, Memphis to Gulf Shores, Alabama, Memphis to Panama City. And that's really how everything started. You know, from there we expanded out to do some business routes over the next couple of years, and then we got into the essential air service market, where we provide air service from rural communities and small towns into major hubs like Dallas, where we're going today.
So what specific services do you provide, and what areas do you cover?
So we have 2 operating footprints. We operate in the Mid-Atlantic with hubs at Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and then we operate in the Gulf region with our hubs at Dallas and focus cities of Memphis and Nashville and Destin. So for us, we feel that scale is very important to the reliability of the operation. So we don't have a plane that's stuck way out in the middle of the West Coast where we're only running one route and only have a couple of pilots. For us, everything is centered around these pockets of activity. So here in Arkansas, we have flights in Hot Springs, El Dorado, and Harrison. And that kind of synergy and that kind of scale allows us to guarantee a lot of reliability that we wouldn't have if we didn't have spare airplanes and spare pilots and extra mechanics within just a couple of hour flights of each other.
Keith, takeoffs seem pretty smooth. So what about the Caravan's durability and reliability?
Well, you know, this is a big, small plane. You know, it's got 9 seats, but you can see the way that we're sitting in it. I mean, it's just kind of like you're sitting in a recliner. You know, you're on a regional jet with one of the legacy carriers, and you're sharing an armrest with somebody you don't know, and you're crammed in with 2 on one side of the plane and 1 on the other. Well, here, you know, everybody has an aisle seat, everybody has a window seat. There's plenty of room. You know, when we got onto the plane, I don't know if you noticed, but underneath the plane are these large cargo pods. So we can take a lot of luggage. You know, there is a lot of multiple uses of this airplane. This airplane was originally built as a cargo airplane, so you know it carries a lot of weight and it's very durable. You know, being a cargo airplane and a plane that works for feeders like FedEx, you know, you have to be reliable, because for those guys, if the plane doesn't leave, the package doesn't arrive. So when they made the conversion of going from a cargo airplane to the consumer package that we're in today, you know, look at, or the commuter package rather, you know, we have these wonderful leather headrests with the LED lighting and the great air vents and the great leather seats, the wide aisles. You know, this is a very roomy aircraft, and you can tell just from what we're doing right now at altitude, I believe about 8,000 feet right now, how smooth the ride is and how quiet it is. Most people are not used to a small plane being as quiet as this one, but this is a very comfortable airplane. We're having a normal conversation at normal levels and can be heard across the aisle and in the entire aircraft.
That's true. And what about the Caravan's safety record?
Well, you know, since the Caravan and the PT6 engine were combined in the early 80s, there haven't been any in-flight accidents or engine failures on the Caravan in the contiguous United States. This airplane is extremely reliable, and it has to be. The whole purpose of the Caravan's original inception was to provide reliable connectivity for FedEx to get from the smaller towns to its hub airports with all of its packages. So FedEx designed this airplane with Cessna to always work and to be quiet, to get in and out of the smaller airports, carry a lot of weight, and once they got this built, it worked out really great for a small commuter operation. We have 9 passengers on the aircraft. We have a full cargo pod underneath. The durability of the aircraft, the safety record, it's just impeccable. Cessna is still making the Caravans today, rolling off the assembly line. This airplane is one that will probably always be in production because it can be used in so many different ways.
So Glen, I heard you recently traveled all the way to Los Angeles from Hot Springs using Southern Airways. Why didn't you choose to use the Clinton International Airport in Little Rock instead?
Well, at first, I checked the prices from Little Rock to Los Angeles, and they were going to be close to $900 for a round-trip fare from Little Rock to Los Angeles. Then I decided to check the prices out of Dallas-Fort Worth to Los Angeles, and round trip was going to be $200. So I decided just to use Southern and to get me to Dallas and then fly to Los Angeles and do the business trip and come home.
So what was your travel experience like?
It was quick, easy, and very convenient. I left that morning just like we did today. I got to Dallas plenty enough time, shuttled over to the terminal for Delta, and it was a quick and easy flight.
Well, how do you view the service of Southern Airways?
Oh, it's great. It's so convenient, and we've had a lot of good reviews on it, and the numbers keep growing every day.
Okay, you sort of described using this airplane as an air taxi. What do you mean by that?
Well, I used Southern basically as if you would use an Uber to get you to an airport, but I just used it to get me to Dallas-Fort Worth. I got my ticket, called them up, they took me there, and they dropped me on the front door DFW.
So are you getting comments from time to time about Southern Airlines from passengers that have flown out of Hot Springs?
Yeah, we hear about them quite a bit. People seem to enjoy it. They're growing, like I said, every day. We're seeing more and more people use the airlines, and if the word gets out, I think people will enjoy it.
Glen, what value does Essential Air Service bring to Hot Springs Memorial Field Airport?
Essential air service in airlines based out of Hot Springs is very essential. It allows the people from Hot Springs to connect to the world, just like I did. You go to Dallas, and from Dallas you can go anywhere in the United States and the world. So it allows us, little Hot Springs, to be able to go anywhere. It also allows people from all over the world to come to Hot Springs.
Is there an economic impact to Hot Springs because of essential air service?
I believe so. Businessmen that want to travel here and conduct, business in Hot Springs, they can fly here instead of drive from Little Rock, and it's quick and easy, and time is money.
So Keith, it's a beautiful day here in Dallas, and now that we've landed, what happens next?
Well, look, DFW is the size of Manhattan. DFW is a big airport. Now, our location at the airport is the old commuter terminals, so we're not connected to where all of the other flights are. But the good thing is we have a shuttle here. That shuttle is going to take us and drop us off at Terminal A, and at Terminal A is where the DART line is, and that is the light rail that goes throughout Dallas. So we're going to be able to take a light rail all the way into downtown Dallas and have some lunch. Now, for passengers that show up, we can take them directly to any terminal that they want to go to, so they don't have to walk around the airport. So we'll drop them off right at the door. For people that come in to the airport that are going to be making a connection to go to Hot Springs, this is really kind of cool because they look at the arrival departure boards to see what gate to go to. Well, because we're not at the actual terminals, we're over at the commuter terminal, we don't have a gate number. It's not like C12 or anything like that. So they look up at Hot Springs, they see a telephone number there. They call the telephone number, it's our shuttle driver. He asks you what terminal you're at. He picks you up right at the baggage claim and brings you here to make your connection. So right now, we'll go over and look at that, and then we'll get on the train and go to downtown Dallas. And on the way to downtown Dallas, we pass Love Field. So anybody that wants to fly out of Hot Springs on us to DFW and then make a connection to Southwest at Love, it's a 20-minute train ride from Terminal A to Love Field. So we'll pass Love on the way.
All right, let's get going.
Great.
Now that we've landed at DFW, it's so easy to travel on just like Glen did to Los Angeles. Keith next took us on the DART train, where we passed Dallas Love Field. And as Keith said, DAL provides scores of new destinations as the hub of Southwest Airlines. Our gracious Southern Airways host is taking us for a quick spin into downtown Dallas for lunch. If you're planning a day trip here, there's plenty of time to take care of business or just relax and enjoy one of America's great cities. We bid Keith goodbye before boarding the afternoon flight home. Keith, what can you tell us about the Hot Springs passenger profile? I understand you have some interesting statistics to share.
Absolutely. For the last 6 months, we've been interviewing every passenger that comes into the Hot Springs Airport that gets on our flights. Basically, 3 questions are asked every time. Where's your home zip code? Where's your final destination? And which airline are you connecting to? So from that data, we were able to determine that the West Coast big destination cities are the most popular for people in Hot Springs to connect to. So we're talking Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Portland, Denver, Seattle, San Francisco. All of those cities show up as some of the more popular destinations for people out of Hot Springs. We're also seeing that almost 80% of our Hot Springs passengers are staying local to Dallas. So they're not making any connections. You know, Dallas is a business center, a tourism center. There's a lot going on in Dallas. So a lot of people in Hot Springs are using that flight to get to Dallas to go to work or go on vacation and not make any connecting flights to anywhere else. The most interesting thing that we found, though, is that almost half of the people that use the Hot Springs Airport do not live in Hot Springs. So these are people that come into the Hot Springs Airport for tourism or for business. They stay a couple of days, they stay in your hotel rooms, they eat in your restaurants, and they go back to the airport and we take them home.
That sounds like a win-win for Hot Springs and Southern Airways.
Absolutely.
Now that you've seen what it's like to travel Southern Airways, consider giving yourself the stress-free travel experience that Glen and I just had. Check out iflysouthern.com or call 501-625-9750. Thanks for joining us on our flight today. And next week, we'll bring you more city news.